So our favorite reads of the year. This is not really a spectacular intro for this. It's just the shit that we like the most that we read this year. I'll be honest, this year and last year was a lot of rereading for me, more than like reading new things.
For me, it was a lot of not reading. And then I think in the last 3 months of the year, you and Scam sent me like 4 things. I read them. I got really emotional and I was like, damn, why didn't I do this like sometime earlier?
Yeah. Yeah, nah. So we're going to be talking about those things. And I think the first one I want to bring up, because I'm fairly certain it's on your list as well, is Choujin X.
Dude, I thought we spoke about this. I said we weren't going to do duplicates. And if you're going to be the fucking guy to bring up Choujin X, it's not cool. No, it's not cool that you just get to copy my pick. Oh, what's next? What's next? Full Night? Are you going to say Full Night? Oh, okay. Hey, it's cool. Hey, by the way, it's cool. It's cool to steal ideas.
Bro, you fucking asshole. I put you on to Choujin X. What is this? All right. So look, it's fine if we have duplicates. I guarantee you don't have Nito Exorcist on here, do you?
No, I haven't read that one.
Oh, okay. All right. That would have been really funny.
Dude, I've literally read 4 things this year. Why can't you pick something else?
Okay. Bro, okay, fine. So I won't pick Choujin X and Fool's Night. I'll let you have those two, even though I put you.
Just go ahead. Just go ahead and do it.
Bet. No, Choujin X. I think fucking sick manga. Sui Ishida worked on Tokyo Ghoul, for those that aren't familiar to a certain extent. And I think the first thing I want to get out of the way with Choujin X is I think that should be the precedent, especially if you are a successful mangaka. I feel like no magazine should be able to rush you on shit. You should be able to pull out, fucking whip it on the table and be like, hey, I'm releasing once every 2 months. Figure it out. Because it's just, I feel like Choujin X is such a great product because of that. And I don't know if this is entirely true, but like I know Akira Toriyama had been super successful like before Dragon Ball with Dr. Slump. So I feel like, in contrast to Togashi with Yu Yu Hakusho, where he was already burnt out, wanting to jump off a cliff, and then going into Hunter x Hunter only to continue that cycle. I think this sort of precedent where, like in general, I'd like to see that more mangaka could be able to work at their own pace. Realistically, I understand that is impossible with a weekly or monthly publication. But if once they've made it, dude, I think just being able to take their time on it, it just shows so much. There's like a lot of love in the details in this manga.
Is this misinformation? Like, is it true that he doesn't have a like editor thingy for this? I've only seen like one video about Choujin X before.
I actually don't know. I didn't bother looking into whether or not he has an editor or not. I don't.
You want to just
I know
make
that
it
he
up?
doesn't have a set schedule. Yeah, sure, we can make it up. Although I do feel like having an editor is a huge blessing. Like, I don't know who wouldn't want one, as long as it's not an editor that sucks and is like fucking a corporate shill, you know what I'm saying? But having an editor, I imagine, is real helpful.
I thought I heard like through the grapevine that something...
He just doesn't have one?
This could be like a game of telephone where someone said something totally different and I'm just like distorting reality into a whole new memory of what's going on. But I could have sworn someone said that like it's just the Tokyo Ghoul guy by himself working on it. There's no input, and whatever he does, it's just released as a chapter.
That's kind of badass if that is the case, and it's going very well for him.
I heard he also kicks puppies, if we're going to add on to the like stuff that we're not sure are facts.
For legal reasons, that's a joke. No, but
corgis for some reason too. I don't know where I heard that part from, but I think corgis is what I've heard in the stomach.
If he punt kicked chihuahuas, I wouldn't be too upset with him about it. I'll be honest. Those little fucking rats are... Anyways, no, but like sick fucking manga. Love it to death. I think what's insane about it is up to the point where it's at. It's already had such amazing emotional moments, and yet the main conflict of the story is still being built up.
It's like, I don't even know, because I mean, do you feel like you like it more than Tokyo Ghoul? I didn't think I would, I didn't think that I'd be reading something that either didn't feel like it was going to be a spin-off of different tropes that I've seen before from the same mangaka, or it would be something totally different, but it's kind of like that one series that the Naruto author came out with afterwards, where it is a follow-up, but it's just, I don't know. I think the thing about really great art is that it's just a matter of like right place and right time. And sometimes when like you work on a piece of fiction and it has its own universe of stuff and you spend a lot of time thinking about it, sometimes when you try to do a follow-up after that, after 10 years, it's hard to follow up on that because it's not the right time anymore for it. And so I think that's kind of what I was expecting when you first recommended me to read Choujin X back in like October, September. I talk about that like the ye olden times. But immediately, I mean, do you like what can I bring up stuff from the plot in this thing? Like, is there a set?
Yeah, sure. I'll have sections to where if people don't want to hear spoilers, they could just skip to the other series.
Okay. Yeah. Also, for anybody watching this, Mast and I are like talking to each other in person, and he just keeps tapping my foot under the table whenever I do break the rules, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm following the guidelines here because I don't want to be punished after this. But I'll say stuff for I won't spoil anything. I just noticed like, okay, so I think I went through like 2025 was mostly just like a book year for me. I really got into reading a ton of fiction, and part of my turnoff for getting into stuff that was like manga was when you go back from something that has just like, I don't know, a lot of dialogue and interactions between fictional characters that just have like double, triple, quadruple entendres, and then you go back to catch up on a manga, and everything just feels a little bit on the nose. It kind of burnt me out a little bit of being like, I don't know if anything has been and I think it's also just for personal reasons as well. Like the medium itself for some time like just wasn't, ticking the right boxes for me, but also just like a matter of I spent not so many years because I'm saying this to you, but I spent 3 to 4 years like talking about stuff that was related to manga, and
that's still a long time.
Yeah. Like I don't know. All this to say, things weren't ticking the right boxes for me. Then I gave it a go to just check out maybe like the first 10 to 15 chapters for Choujin X, and the thing that caught me on right away was like, I think I expected the story to take place from something really dramatic. What is the main guy's name again?
Tokyo.
I kind of assumed that because it's a shonen and because it's coming from this author, there would be some type of like dramatic incentive for the main character to want to have a big goal or have a big ambition or have some sort of rivalry. And honestly, dude, what I love so much about Tokyo and his homie's called Akuma, right?
Azuma. I think it's Azuma. Is it Akuma?
I didn't think it's Azuma. I think
it's
right.
Azuma. I think it's a Z, right? Yeah.
If not, it's just
favorite of the year, ladies and gentlemen.
We'll continue like this whole dementia thing where we just keep making shit up about like a thing that never existed in the first place.
Time out real quick before you continue. What I love so much about our friend group, me, you, and Scam in particular, is if we ever have arguments, it's just so fucked because none of us remember finer details. So we'll legit argue so hard and then all of us just not remember what exactly happened. It's like the most determined on whose fake memory is the most. But continue.
Wait, what'd you say?
What do you mean? Oh fuck!
Sorry.
Fuck you. Okay, I know my mic cut out. You didn't hear it.
I was shocked. Like, and this sounds like. This is me not actually being hyperbolic at all. I fucking love those two. It's like one of the first times I've ever read something of that genre where the relationship is so normal. Like, clearly Tokyo is just like best friends with somebody that he really looks up to. Like, the logic behind him having such an effect on him is like, I got bullied as a kid. Azuma was this nerdy guy who got good grades and he stood up for himself, was a black belt in judo, knew karate, trained in a bunch of stuff. And he just like did all the things that I once wanted to be. And because of that, I really admire him. And they just kind of like compete with each other. And that's it. No one killed each other's mom. No one, you know, kicked a corgi and decided to like betray some ancient descendant family. It's literally just like two best friends live in this fictional fantasy world where it just so happens they have these crazy syringes that are like basically turning your personality into a superpower. And that's all it kind of starts off with. You don't really know like a big main antagonist and stuff. And I just thought that was like a breath of fresh air. I don't know. How did you feel about, I don't know like how far back this thing like even came out in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, so this, I think it had come out like three-ish years ago. But again, just releasing at a very, very slow pace. But back then when I read it, I was immediately hooked because to me, my favorite thing for the foundation of a series, for like the plot itself to be character driven, I am a sucker for just like the most personal, like character. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, okay, these two have problems with each other because of something that is extremely just personal and relatable. There isn't this artificial feeling of like, oh, this happened and therefore I have to hate you for this. It's their actions make sense because of the personalities. And you know very well the personalities of these two and what matters to them. And I thought that was just super sick. And the way that it was handled by making it so that Azuma, the one who was always in kind of this position to protect Tokyo, it gets flipped. And then you end up kind of, it gets hinted later on that maybe Tokyo had been holding back at times. And it's just sort of like, whoa, okay, this is cool. And then only just more characters get thrown into the mix who also had their own sort of personal things like that. My favorite character in the series, Batista, and his brother, for example, which, by the way, I don't know how you feel about Batista. I might be jumping the gun a little bit here, but I also don't want to spend an hour on Choujin X. Fucking, dude, Batista was so fucking good as like a villain. I thought that motherfucker was sick. Like, I was blown away. And I think Suishida is very, very good at emotional scenes. I just think that with Choujin X, I like a lot of them more because there's, I think it's a little more refined. It's melodramatic, but not to the point where it's just like, all right, I'm drowning in it a little too much, you know?
Yeah.
But I thought like a character like Batista is a great example. He just wants to be in control of something in his life, and he wanted to be with his wife who he loved, you know? And it's just like, nah, this motherfucker is told like, oh yeah, your wife's going to die, and then has to watch it happen and can't do shit about it. And then he can't even, you know, off himself. And it's just like, oh yeah, that's understandable. That is a very reasonable reason to, you know, to be pissed at everything.
I was going to say,
the fact that there's more. No, I was just going to say, and the fact that there's still more is absurd.
Yeah. I mean, all I was going to say with that was just that, like, I felt like your opinion sucked, and so I was going to interrupt anyways. But to the thing on, I think it's the same thing. Yeah, like, again, you can let me know however long you want to not go on for like an hour about Choujin X, because I will do that. We can just turn it into like a Choujin X thing if you want. But okay. I do really like. I really appreciate the way the series takes really small motives and kind of like lets that person spend a lot of time with that feeling, either from a really specific moment that happened when they were young or a really traumatic moment that occurred in a really, I guess, like defining point in their life. For Batista, obviously it was when he was an adult. For Tokyo, it was when he was a little kid and just never felt like anything other than a background character. And for Azuma, obviously it happens when the two of those guys just become like super jits and they don't know how to navigate those sorts of feelings because they're still in high school, but filled with like a ton of responsibility and stuff. And I super love that. Like, I love how a lot of their actions just kind of get determined from small little things like that, especially because it feels a lot more realistic. Like, you brought up Ozma. Like, that guy literally is still like friends with his best friend and childhood best friend, but he's just like a little bit jealous, and that sucks. And you can tell that it
Insecure, 100%.
it hurts. Like it hurts a ton. And all of us know that phrase of like, your personality is the byproduct of the 5 favorite people around you. Clearly, all of us as human beings, we get affected in some type of way by like our friends, especially. We try to take traits from them that we find really admirable. I do this, you do this, all of us do this. And I think it's really cool the way that like each of those personalities get a little bit more malleable as the chapters grow. Like, it feels like you're only there for like a short span of time, but with each person, you're like watching them kind of grow and maybe regress and get a little bit uglier with their personality. Sometimes you hang out with like one of the villains, whatever the fuck is the name of Mr. Octopus Face, dude. That guy's
I don't remember it. Yeah, but yeah.
Mr. Octopus, we can just call him Mr. Octopus Face. Like, that guy's so fun to just spend time with, because immediately you just get introduced to him as being like obviously on the bad side. And they just show like little tiny cute comic strips of, when he's not up to villainy, he's like getting hot dogs at a stand. And there's there's that like one panel I sent you over DMs where it's just a regular civilian getting hot dogs. He sees that the octopus dude is behind him in line. He's walking back, and the octopus dude just goes, "Boo," and he goes like, "Ah!" And then that's it. It just goes back on to like whatever villain plan he had going on. Like, I love that shit. I think I love specifically this series just because it has so little to do. The end of the world and like cosmic battles are happening, but so much of it has very little to do with that. And to me, I think that like scratched an itch for me, where I was like, oh fuck, you gave me the good shit, masked man. You gave me some good shit, man.
I think Ozma's really the X factor for me when it comes to what you're talking about, because that's a character that, because of his personality and everything we know about him, any little character that he interacts with or that he then forms relationships with becomes this chemical, and you don't know which one is going to cause an explosion. In particular, him and Ellie, when that got introduced, I was like, oh fuck, if anything happens to her and Tokyo happens to be involved, which that's kind of my prediction for how shit's going to go down in the end. I believe that Ellie is going to unfortunately be caught in an accident, and Azuma's going to blame Tokyo for it, which, by the way, also Tokyo has the way that he is in chapter 1 and then the way he is in recent events. Even before that, like, I think it was only like a 30-ish chapter span that, you had this time skip, which part of me was like, I would have really liked to have seen what happened to Tokyo in that time skip. But I also understand Ishida wanting to be focused on what's happening, and it's sort of like, I can skip over this a bit. Yeah. But I think, the way that that's done in Choujin X, and we haven't gotten to this yet, and I think it'd be a good point to jump onto. The artwork is so good. There was that stretch from, I'm trying to remember exactly what chapter I told you. Was it chapter 37?
Oh,
or was it 34?
Something like that. Yeah. It's when a certain guy, I think, like
stretch.
Unlocks his Jinchuriki or some shit.
Something like that, I believe. Yeah, I think I remember I was just sort of like, dude, you have got to read. I swear
Oh, you know what? And you can bleep this out. You're talking about the chapter when Tokyo unlocks like his Hollow Knight form.
Oh, it was around 34.
Yeah,
around 34.
Yeah, he gets like his Espada Vulture form.
Yeah, no, some crazy shit. But the artwork is so good. The moments of comedy are very appreciated because, again, it's a story that does get pretty heavy. But man, yeah, if anybody who likes manga, I don't know why you wouldn't like Choujin X. I just don't see how you couldn't.
But I want to make a argument to something that you mentioned earlier, because I feel like all of this sounds amazing. Like it's really cool and awesome that someone gets to be releasing a series for a really big publisher like Shonen, but not be set under the same expectations that kind of burns out a lot of artists and runs them dry. So then they get canceled after like chapter 15, either from demand or because the person making it just ran out of creative juice and just started making some bullshit where isekai'd into a fridge, whatever. But I think we're also kind of seeing, because I've thought about this too. Like I've wanted to bring it up before in like some type of like a media video, but I also feel conflicted about wanting that to happen again in the future, because there are also a lot of cases where that doesn't work for that type of artist. Like some people have a ton of creative freedom and it's not doing them the best because of either age or the stage in their life, or just because it like doesn't fit into their fucking routine. Prime example is a dude like Inoue. That guy has bajillion trillions of millions of dollars. I've seen that dude's house in like some random interview in like Tokyo in 2007. I can't even fathom. Like it's like George R.R. Martin. It's like, why would you go back to why would you go back to the most
work? Why would you work?
Yeah, like why would you suffer
stressful environment?
The worst thing on earth when you have silk sheets at home. You got a fucking ginormous beanbag that you can lean on and just spend time with your family instead. Like, why would you do that? I feel like this is one of those rare cases where Ishida is clearly a very accomplished artist, but they've managed to like navigate a routine that still works out for them, you know?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. There are some people who would work well with no limitations, and others, which is like, we got to put some limitations back on.
We gotta get this guy in a 9 to 5 schedule again, because right now this shit it's not happening.
Yeah. I think my standards are just really low, because my favorite series of all time, my 2 favorite manga of all time, are both like A.
Yeah, those guys got to get back to work. It's fucked up. Like, they're just bums.
Well, hold on. The first one kind of can't,
bro.
But like,
they're just bums.
But well, I think it'd be a good time though to move on to the next one.
You heard it here first, folks. Mura's a fucking bum and needs to get off his ass.
Now, do you want to do one of yours that I don't have, or should I do one of mine that you don't have?
Have you done? I mean, I was gonna bring up either Mad or The Boxer. Which one? Have you read both of those?
Mad.
Okay. Well,
Mad?
I fucking got to the masked man, the guy with the manga encyclopedia. I found something that he doesn't read, and that I did.
Yeah, because The Boxer I've read. I love The Boxer, so I'll be excited to talk about that. But go ahead, put me on Mad. What's up?
So Mad was pitched to me all of a sudden out of thin air by fucking Scam, and he literally just said to me, it's just Fujimoto. It's like an alibi of Fujimoto if you assume that like he just went under a different alias and decided to go on like some side project that was like hidden. And I was like, okay, you don't know how many times I've had people come up to me and say that shit, like, this movie's like Fujimoto. This one TV show has
like
has boobs and there's and the main protagonist is severely autistic. Therefore, it equates to it being like Fujimoto. So I had like a decent amount of doubts going into it. Then I read the first 10 chapters and I was like, fuck, dude, I think this might be Fujimoto. Like, it's like, it's hard to say. Like, I kind of wish you had read a couple of the first chapters just so you could like understand what I mean by that. It's like almost suspicious how weirdly it feels like that guy, purely because I think often people bring up that reference. Oh, can you not hear me?
No, I can. I'm just asking if is that the series?
Yeah, that's Mad. You like okay, for context,
gotcha.
He just sent me a screenshot of like one of the things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, number one, the like main creatures look like devils. So already sus. Can't convince me that it's not him. But then the second thing is that this is something that like I've been trying to figure out a really good way to explain, but Fujimoto is just like one of those people. I've seen Miura do this before as well, where like a certain event or like a moment will happen, and then they'll just kind of sit with that for like 8 pages straight, like no dialogue, and each panel is kind of like a movie sequence where there will be like a shot of their hand, their eyebrow, their face, their mouth, and then a wide shot of like the characters that are like talking to each other. And I'll use an example of like 2 characters talking to each other, and there's like a bit of double meaning behind what they're saying. Like they don't know if they should trust each other or like whatever the hell. I was about to say fuck and hell, and I said hef, like a weird pseudo combination of it there. But something about those sequences I find to be like really rare, and you see that pretty often in something like Chainsaw Man, and I see this guy do that as well. And I find that stuff really, really, really surprising in manga, because you and I know better than most people how insane of a move that is as a mangaka, where if you're working on a chapter for 2 weeks straight and you spend 8 pages on 1 single second, that's nuts. Like that, you have to actually be like a psychopath to commit to that.
Selective with it,
or you just have like infinity confidence. Like you just have infinite charisma, and you're like, I'm this shit. I can tell the best stories ever. Either way, that's like unheard of. And this guy does that stuff so often, where like the main character's name is John, and he's very untrustworthy. Like it takes place in this like apocalyptic world where there's like these aliens and people can like transform into stuff, and he gets taken to like an encampment, and he doesn't trust the people at this encampment, and the encampment people also don't know whether to trust like the main character or not. So they have a lot of sequences like that where they're like hyper analyzing each other's like word usage and also like their facial expressions. It's really cool. It's really, really movie-like, and I think you would fuck with it a lot.
Okay, that sounds badass. I'll check it out.
Yeah, that's my sales pitch.
Peek. All right, bet. So, should I now give my sales pitch for Nito Exorcist?
Yes.
Or again, because I think I've tried giving it to you.
You've tried giving it to me before, and I hate you, and so I decided to not listen to it. But you can. I'll give you a second chance now.
Okay. Already bet. Yeah, y'all can't see it, but I just kicked them under this table. So, Nito Exorcist.
You also
how would I
keep putting a
describe
feather up my armpit, and I just want to let you know that I don't think that's cool.
All right, my bad. I'll fucking cut it out. Nito Exorcist, though, I think is one of. I think it's just one of the coolest manga I've had the pleasure of reading. Around that time, I'd also played Lecks, which is like for anybody who's checked that video game out, it is nuts.
Can you tell me what Lecks is about? Because I have about 3 hours in that game. I couldn't tell you jack shit.
Yeah. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, you play as this guy who has friends, and you're trying to get to the moon to kill Gibby, because Gibby's evil.
That makes perfect sense. Thank you for clarifying.
No problem. But with the Nito Exorcist, it was this series where, I looked at it and it's like, okay, it's this Exorcist manga, this main character who's all fucking, dark hair, sad, whatnot. I was like, all right, let's the art style looks interesting. Let's see what's up. And it turned into one of the most beautiful manga. And one of the things I said in my video about this, where it is one of the compliments that you would give to someone like Fujimoto. And I think Ishida is very deserving of that sort of compliment as well. I think it does a good job with it when he chooses to, like, you see this with more of the minor antagonists in the series, where all they need is like 2 fucking chapters and they will give you a full character. And for some authors that it takes them 50, these guys could do it in like 10. Mm-hmm. And this series 100% felt like that. So you follow this guy who wants to exorcise these weird spirits, and they're just drawn like cartoon kids characters. Like they're not drawn like the typical demons are, outside of the really, really dangerous ones. So you get like this really weird, unique art style that you're looking at. And the more you get to learn about the main character, the less it is about revenge for him, and it's more so about mourning and paying proper respects to the dead. So it's sort of taking the idea of somebody being this exorcist or having the goal of vengeance and kind of adding a little bit more less anger and more sadness into it, and you also have to see him try to balance that out with the lead female who's his best friend, because essentially she has feelings for him, and she's trying to get him to like cut it out and realize that like there's more to living right now, but he just can't give up the purpose, and the story explains that a little more. But it genuinely is just, it'll have moments of dialogue where I'm just like, what the fuck? But in the context, it works out. Like, there's a line in the manga where it's like, well, why would you do this? And the person answers, because John F. Kennedy died. Out of context, makes no sense. In the context of the story, it works. And there's so many weird dialogue moments like that. But obviously the big catch for me was the art. I think it has my favorite usage of art in manga. At least it's up there. And I'm not saying in particular like the art style, but kind of. It's also the paneling, the way that things are done. Like you said, having the balls to be like, all right, you have this amount of pages in a chapter and you choose to do these things with said pages. It's like the person who made this was hellbent on being like, every single page of mine is a protest to every boring fucking manga out there. Fuck all of you who take this as a visual piece of medium and try not to do more with it. And it's so fun to read. And right now we're sort of in the midst of getting into the main villain, which for me, I'm hoping is fucking great, because if not, that would be awful. But at the time in which I made the videos, at 33-ish chapters, I don't know exactly what it's at right now because I've been reading other things, but I think the Nito Exorcist is just one of the most, like, at worst, you read it and you're just like, oh, this was a visually cool manga, and at best, it's sort of like this super experimental thing with a beautiful character and multiple beautiful characters and just wild interactions and dynamics that we're just about to see the best of.
Let me pose you a question then, Masked Man.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think I would like this?
Because you like weird shit.
Okay, I knew that question was either going to lead you to like an insult, or it was going to be something of like, you were gonna point out a trait about me that. Well,
no. Okay.
But here's the thing: you're right, and you're right, and you're right, and you're right, and I probably would like that. Yeah.
I'll give you the more thought out answer from friend to friend. I do think you are somebody who, as much as you appreciate, I think, art, I think you really appreciate it when somebody decides to just not do what is in front of them. Like, I think you're 100% the type of person who likes the possibilities of, if everybody's going left, you're like, yeah, but what if we just take this right turn? And if the consequences are the consequences, so be it, but at least you found out.
Yeah, I agree. I think I like those things because of what they represent. And so especially with stuff like manga, I remember when I first got into the medium in 2020, that was like a huge factor for me becoming obsessed with it. It's just how often you fucking find stuff that is just not ever willing to be explored in books, in movies, in TV shows. You will never see something like Pun Pun be adapted into a serialized like TV show on Apple TV or something. And because of that stuff,
imagine.
I mean, I'm being like, I'm making like,
I know what you're saying. I know.
No, like you're actually like, you're right. It could be adapted, and I'm making like 2021 YouTube Shorts talking points right now. But I do think that, I do think that stuff like that always, it's the reason why I love reading stuff like this. I don't really read it to have a comparison for other forms of fantasy or like other mediums and stuff. If there's like one thing that I feel like manga has always been able to win with, is just really oddly specific creative decisions. So I get that. I think I'm giving you shit, but you're probably right. I am a slut for weird stuff.
I'm somewhat of a whore for weird stuff. So I think we could get into the next one, which is on both of our lists, which is Fool's Night.
Is it not Fool Night?
Be completely. Is it Fool Night or is it Fool's Night?
Just two YouTubers with dementia trying to record anything. What was it called?
Let's talk about the next thing on our list. So Choujin X. No.
It's the fucking. It's that one.
It is full night.
It's that one time we made a joke about making a video similar to when the anime men got a bunch of shit for like watching a bunch of series. We just do the demented version of that, where me and Scam, we just watch a bunch of series, but we forgot which ones we saw. So
dude, what's funny enough is that I feel like if we watched enough anime and then we did the recording not sober, that's what would happen naturally. Like, it wouldn't even be maliciously, we wouldn't grift, it wouldn't be any of that. It would legitimately be that like I got CTE at this point from from fucking
you and Scam have CTE. I just fully have like a extra chromosome that got added onto my brain, and all of a sudden, like, we just try to watch this series, and we're like, all right, guys, we're gonna do first impressions for this. First off, we're gonna start with Steins Gate. 7 minutes past into the video, so this next one is going to be an interesting one. A lot of people have been recommending it, and it's called Steins Gate. 7 minutes later.
You know what's great? Steins Gate would work so well because of the fucking, it's a time travel series. So like unintentionally that would work on multiple levels as a joke.
Yeah, and that's
at this point we have to do it.
And that's called art, if you guys don't know about that. It's called just having like double meaning. It's called just deep. It's called just being deep and like really smart.
It is full night, by the way.
Okay, all right. So wait, did you say full night or did I say full night?
I said fool's night.
Okay, I'm fucking with you. Okay.
I legitimately, I got so worried. Dude, there's this clip. I don't know. You know that Jonathan Majors movie where he's like trying to be a Mr. Olympia? Have you seen the clip or the meme of him where he's like smiling in the mirror really hard and then he's flexing? And it's like, have you seen that?
I mean, I'm typing his name into Google, and that is the first thing that's coming up is scene of him in the mirror.
It's so funny because I sent it to Scam, and it was like a meme of like when I'm witnessing my own cognitive decline, but I'm ripped as fuck, and it's just fucking. Talking about all of our habits, dude, because we have so many habits, dude, that like when our brain finally explodes, we won't know which thing caused it, you know?
Yeah.
But what were we talking about? Night. Full night. I think full night.
It's not Fool's Night.
I wanted to do a video on it, but I'll shut the fuck up. I wanted to do a video on it.
What were we talking about though?
And it. Dude, you gotta cut it out because I will second guess myself so badly. You need to let me do this.
It's your boy Masked Man here, hanging out with Alex. When are we gonna? Oh no, your mic's not set up yet, right? I still gotta record and open up my Audacity, I think.
Dude, you can't do this to me because I actually get anxious. You need to fucking.
What's
relax.
7 times 7?
It's fucking 47. Is it? Dude, please tell me it is. I'm gonna
you have CTE. Sir, you have CTE. I hate to break it to you.
Wait, hold on. It has to be 49. I was off by 2. Fuck. All right. Jesus Christ. It's bad. All right. Fuck. We can cut that out. It's not getting cut out.
Yo,
right.
Editor, cut that shit. Cut that shit. You have to cut out the math part, dude. That was fucked up.
Nah. I'll admit, math was never my strong suit, dude.
No, you got this. You're actually good at math. What's 6 times 4?
Yeah. Fucking 20. 4. 24.
Oh, that was a good bit. You had me there in the first half.
Thank you. All right, so full night. Main character is broke. I think that's about as relatable of any struggle for any character to have. Obviously, there's more to it than just that. But he's broke. And in this society, they have this thing where because the oxygen has gotten so bad that they have to turn humans into plants. And that shit is kind of crazy. But I think the manga in general captures the really scary reality that we kind of live in nowadays. Although obviously I'd imagine, most people it isn't too grim. But, shit, man, like, it's a greedy world we live in, Yeah. And I think that feeling that things and decisions are being made for for a few at the expense of many is very, very well presented in this manga, on top of all of the personal dynamics and moral sort of dilemmas that the characters fall into. I think it's a very thrilling and a very emotional manga. I just didn't make a video on it because I'll be honest, trying to come up with a good title for a full night video made me want to fucking commit crimes. Like dude, I couldn't think of anything because it's like after a while you just get tired of the most, the best, the darkest, the fucking, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, bro, I just want to title a video
right now.
Okay, let's see what we could come up with.
So you could do manga, capitalism.
Yeah,
Thoughts?
And I'll start the video off giving 5 disclaimers and fucking with a septum piercing in my nose and shit. Fucking yeah, that's what I want.
Well, that's what it's about. You're making fun of it.
I know
but
that's what it's about, but it's like
you ever heard of Foucault?
No, I get it, but it's like if I use the word in a title, the optics are bad. You know, it's kind of like fucking. You know, like if I looked at a video that said manga/capitalism, I'd be like, this dork believes in polyamory. Like I'm fucking, you know, like I'm good.
And I mean, it's okay to be honest about that. I didn't know you were going to bring it up on this video, but that's on you. What I was going to say was that, well, so this is the only one out of the stuff that I am down to talk about that I have not fully caught up on. I think I've read maybe like 40 chapters in so far, but I think I'm in the same boat where we're just saying a whole bunch of words to distract from the fact that it has cool art. I think that's how you make a career as a manga creator, is you just learn how to extrapolate a bunch of words that don't mean anything, all to just say the art looks really cool. And this is the exact same process. Full Night just has some cool fucking art. It has a similar like Land of the Lustrous type of vibe to it, where it uses a lot of negative to take up space. And I mean, okay. I mean, you just said it with like a certain inflection that I just didn't. It didn't sit well with me. I didn't know such thing. I like that a lot. I think that's a very brave artistic decision, and I feel like you don't. Other than Land of the Lustrous, I'm sure there's other stuff that does have a similar art style to that, but Full Night is just really one of those cases where it combines that really well with a lot of genuinely fucked up themes about poverty. Yeah. It's like poverty, the manga title recommendation. You should give that and then give me 20% of the revenue.
You know what? I like that one more. Yeah. I like that one more. Yeah.
Just because like it, I you know, obviously it has a lot to do with just people struggling to figure out how to live on an earth that does not have any source of air and is not habitable for most people unless you're rich. And on the surface, that is a fictional trope that has been done over and over again and is a tale as old as time. But what I really, really like about this one, and I really only have this thought come up because of like a bunch of like volunteering stuff I did in college, but I feel like poverty or being poor or being broke in a lot of media gets depicted as having like very obvious visual cues for that. So if somebody is really poor in media, they kind of get represented as having like torn clothing or a dirty face, and they don't shower and they're out in the streets. And I love this manga because it's one of the first times I've seen in media have poverty not be depicted as that. Like a lot of the characters have very clean clothing. They have a shower. Hell, they even have an apartment, but it's the stress of like, I physically don't know if I'm going to have this place next month, or the prices in my city keeps increasing and I physically can't sustain it. So I have to sacrifice in other avenues. Like maybe I'm not going to use the washer soon, or maybe I'm going to have to get different groceries, or maybe I need to get a job, but my job isn't paying me enough. And like all of those things adding up creates just like this ball of stress where you cannot function like anymore, like normally as a person. Like you're just in this constant state of like fight or flight, which to me, I'm only 40 chapters in, so I don't know if this ends up being the case down the line, but I get that a lot from the main character's mom of just like full senile, gone, like just in a state of complete lunacy and just does not know how to operate anymore as a human being. And I picture her being like an extreme of that, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's one of the parts, and not just with the mom, but there's another, character, this man with his daughter that they get sent to, I forget the name of the town, but it's a really horrifying thing where because of money, family members are no longer family members and their assets are liabilities.
Mm-hmm.
And that's real gross. But it is, some people wake up every morning having to their entire paycheck be to deal and help out a family member who they genuinely want to out of the bottom of their heart. But it's almost like it's situations where to the point you question doing immoral things in order to just do more than survive. And I think what really took this manga to another level for me was the fact that the best friend of the main character is somebody who actively participates in that system that is taking advantage of people. And you get to see her deal with that and how she has to sleep at night.
Yeah.
And I thought that was I thought that allowed for a very, very interesting dynamic. And the fact that the main character only has a certain amount of time to live creates this natural tension in the story that once it's like the seeds are planted, that's there in the back of your mind as the series goes on. And it's like, oh, this character becoming more desperate is understandable. And there's just so many things that contribute to it. As well as like, it's not the main villain, but one of the main villains early on and sort of the backstory of it being, I don't remember exactly if by chapter 40 that's resolved. So I won't say anything, but for those who know, I'll just say Plant Skullhead. They'll know who I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Genuinely one of the most heartfelt scenes that I saw. And it's just like, wow. It does a good job, I think, of depicting people from all different types of ages. Yeah. And how they all deal and view this sort of world that they live in.
I'll also even add that this is, this gets brought up all the time, but it's so nice. Again, I'm only 40 chapters in. So if I find out that this ends up changing down the line, I'm going to be so pissed about what I'm going to say. I like that the two protagonists are just friends. Like they're just best friends and they don't have feelings for each other. Please correct me if I'm wrong. God fucking damn it. God fucking damn it, dude.
What happened?
Are they not together? They stay friends, right?
Yeah. Up to where I'm at.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I wanted to just like I love that so much. It's so rare to ever see that in manga, and it's not even like tiptoeing around it. Like, oh, they're friends, but there's a scene where they accidentally walk or aren't looking and somehow like walk close to each other, and somehow that like naturally ends up to a really weird scene where they just like graze a kiss or like entertain the idea of having feel. It's like it's purely just is platonic the non-sexual one?
I believe so.
They're just platonic. And that's it. I love that a lot. You like the only other series that comes to mind is probably Denji and Power. I want more representation like that. It's a big part of my own life. Like one of my own best friends is a girl that I've known for like almost 10 years now. Mm-hmm. And I wish I saw stuff like that get represented more often in media. 'Cause it makes me, it makes it seem like that always has to be the case when it's so much more common than like we want to make it seem. And I just find that stuff like a breath of fresh air.
Okay, so the next thing I'd like to talk about, it's an oldie, and I won't spend too much time on it other than I just want to say that it's awesome and it should be a lot more popular than it is. Because I had just recently read or tried to read Hitman Reborn, and I got to the whole future arc and whatever the hell, and the arc before that, Mercuro, I believe that's the name of the character, solid arc and everything. Well, there was an arc before that one, and then there was the Mercuro arc. No, there was an arc after that one, then the Mercuro. Point is, Hitman Reborn kind of sucked. Fucking wasn't all too fond of that one. But one that I did like that was from that era of 2000 shonen, Zatch Bell. So Zatch Bell Are you familiar with it at all?
How do you spell that? Zatch Bell.
Zatch space Bell.
Yeah. This looks like hot ass. No, I have no idea. I've never heard of this in my entire life.
All right. Zatch Bell is like this middle school boy, and he gets sent a gift from his father, which is another little boy, which I don't know what the legal ramifications are of that, but it's Japan, whatever. So essentially, the little boy that he gets sent has magic powers, and it ends up being revealed that Zatch Bell is actually a demon. Zatch, his name is Zatch. Zatch is a demon, and it ends up evolving into this entire conflict where there's like this battle royale that takes place between 100 demons to find out who's going to be the next demon king of the next era and all that. So again, pretty standard shonen stuff, but it actually gets really good. Like, there are moments of dialogue that I was just kind of like, yo, this is sick. This is sick. And for a manga of that time, a shonen especially, very well paced. Granted, the first 20 chapters, it takes a little bit to get off the ground, but like once it takes off like that, it just never looks back. And then it sort of has this moment in its final arc. I mean, even in that arc where you deal with Zatch fighting against his own twin brother and all that, it takes a pretty dark turn for a moment where you're just like, oh shit, this gets quite serious for something that looks like this. And ultimately, it's just one of those things where when I got done reading it, it felt like it returned the feeling to me from a long time ago where I beat a game as a little kid and all the main characters that you journeyed with are saying goodbye to each other and you just can't help but get a little emotional about it. Mm-hmm. So in general, I just think it's like a super fun fucking shonen with great action and really good character moments, far better than what I was expecting. And the fact that it just fucking like nobody seems to talk about it now, and it has a sequel series going on, but nobody's talking about it now, even though I think it's better than a lot of the other shonen that got popular during that time.
I see. Okay. Yeah, that sounds dumb.
So, well, it's your next read then, motherfucker.
Okay. Who would like this? Would I like this?
You probably not. No.
Why wouldn't I like it?
I don't know, because it is a bit on the nose at times early on. Later on, it's better at that, but like it's not. I just don't like when I close my mind, and if I were to do like a fucking collage of you, it would be like weird manga. Red Rising,
big dick,
surfing,
huge dick, really
huge
big
ass.
dick. Just like half the collage is just really big penises.
and like I don't see Zatch Bell being on there. I could see you liking something like Siren, which was around that time, although Siren had a really rushed ending, which hurt because it was genuinely like setting up to be fucking fantastic. But yeah, I just don't think Zatch Bell from an aesthetic point, I don't think it would interest you enough to then make you stick story wise. Does that make sense?
I'll try to point a reason as to why I'm asking that for something like this. Lately, and this mainly only happened when I started doing like a book club with my Patreon people. I have sometimes been coming across stuff that isn't my shtick, and sometimes when I read that shtick, I almost have to put myself in the mindset of like, okay, I'm getting a first impression. It's not a good one. But what if I just pretended it was a really good one? Like, what if I lived in a reality where literally everyone was saying this was the best thing ever, and I was like wrong? What? Like, I tried to like almost explore how that would make me feel, and also like, what are other people seeing that I'm not seeing? Yeah. So I guess for the case of like Zatch Bell, let's say it was the best thing ever, but you had to view it through like a certain lens of like being a little bit forgiving about some type of stuff. Like, what sort of goggles do I got to be wearing to be like, holy shit, this is the best thing ever?
I think you would just have to look through the goggles that like the comedy just is what it is at its time. Like the comedy is what it is at its time, and it won't last forever, and it won't shoot itself in the foot when the important moments come. You know, like I think it's the goggles of you just got to give it a bit. You got to give it a bit. Like it's like an old car that you love, you know? It takes a little bit to start, but boy, are there a lot of memories in that car.
What would make it the best thing?
Put me on the spot. No, I think it did a really great job of like emotionally investing me in not just the main characters, but the cast overall. Like the entire cast is just, it becomes a bunch of lovable characters that whenever you see them interact with each other, fucking dope as shit. And then like in Yu Yu Hakusho did a really good job with this. The villains are just like, oh, okay, this is fucking dope. Which again, I think there are a lot of shonen that you could say that for, but I think that Zatch Bell was able to like poke an emotional chord. I was just kind of like, oh yeah, I really fucking enjoyed this a lot.
You do also have like inhuman patience. I feel like this, like the way Scam talks about manhwa, you have the patience with vintage old ugly shit.
Yeah, that's what I don't have the patience for manhwa, but I do have the patience for older series. Well, because it's like, so like with Zatch Bell, right? I promise you, it's like probably the first 30-ish chapters that are like villain of the week-ish. You know, it's still not really going in a specific direction that is strong enough with strong enough of a hook to where you're like, oh yeah. But once it takes off, it doesn't look back. And I've experienced enough manga from that era to understand that's just kind of how they worked. You know, like fucking Rurouni Kenshin's that way, Shaman King's that way. Even when you get into like the 2010 series, Blue Exorcist, 100% is that way. Like even Bleach even takes a little bit to get going. Yu Yu Hakusho it took like 20 episodes until I was like, oh, this is fucking okay. I see why everybody fucking vouches for this.
Well, I say
like
that your tolerance is just high for vintage shit, because I feel like every time we're in VC, like back when we would go to that little like office space call when we were trying to like work, I would usually just be like playing Rocket League. Scam would just be shadowboxing in his room, and we're like, oh, Mess, like, what are you up to? And you're like, oh, I'm reading this 1947 series that was originally drawn on a fur coat and then scammed out onto a pirated website, and about 4 people have read it before, and half of it is in French because no one was able to bother with the translations.
Yeah, because I don't know, there might be something really cool there, and it's I think it's cool seeing where ideas that we've now tried to refine where they originated from.
Yeah.
I think that's real cool. Like I said it in my video about Yu Yu Hakusho that I think certain like really good anime nowadays, especially for shonen, like I'll say JJK for example, does a really good job pacing wise and the action. But them motherfuckers in the 2000s knew something or two about writing characters. Like, I'll tell you that much. Like, boy, oh boy, they knew how to punch you in the fucking heart.
Yeah.
And I still really like that.
And
yeah, which is funny because like people see what I'm into, like, you know, they'll see like the Berserk and Pun Pun and they'll just be like, oh, this is the type of person he is. And it's like, oh, it was Zatch Bell and Shaman King, you know?
And you're doing God's work. And we commend you for that, because we wouldn't be doing it. You do the things that we don't want to do.
I could hear you fucking, like, if I presented a series, I was like, hey guys, what if I could hear you like pretending to like fucking disconnect and shit or fucking be busy with something else, and I could hear Scam straight up going, I ain't reading that fucking bullshit.
I'm not reading that fucking bullshit.
Hear it. The fuck? No, but the Zatch Bell would be, because it was between Zatch Bell and honestly Blue Exorcist was up there, but it's not finished yet. Zatch Bell's finished, so for me those would be my 4: Choujin X, Nito, Exorcist, Full Night, Zatch Bell. I think those were my favorite reads this year. And then there's one more that I really liked, called Before You Go Extinct, but I won't say too much on it because I have a video coming out on that soon.
Okay. Did you have how about for today? Was there any other one that you were planning on mentioning?
No, I think that because like the other things that I read this year, like Shaman King, I really liked, but I didn't like them more than Zatch Bell. I mean, I could mention Yu Yu Hakusho because Yu Yu Hakusho would actually be number one out of everything, but that was anime.
Yeah, more vintage bullshit. It's not even worth entertaining at this point, you know.
Alrighty. Okay. All right.
Well, it's time to talk about some real stuff that's meant for not pseudo intellectuals, and that's fucking. I'm not even caught up yet, but it's something I was reading for my book club. Oh, did another one come up?
Yeah. Sorry. Wait. Aren't you gonna say the name?
No. We can do the Boxer as the finale. What was the one that came to mind?
What do you mean the one that came to mind? What?
You just said
Well, I thought you were gonna talk about the Boxer.
I was confused. I thought you like forgot that to mention something, and you're like, oh fuck.
Oh no. I didn't know. I was excited to hear you. I thought you were building up to the Boxer. So
dude. Okay. So can we? Is it time? Can I talk about the Boxer?
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm excited to see you be excited to talk about this.
This is fucking gas, man. This is fucking gas. Like, what the fuck? Like, let me preface this by saying I have tried to give the Boxer so many attempts before. It's like, I think in the top, it's like as often as, I don't know, the Mal top 10 list has been the same since the past like 10 years. Like the Boxer, you type in any manhwa and the Boxer like always comes up. I tried reading it when I was first getting into the medium. I read like a semi decent amount of it when I like made a manhwa video. And I liked it a lot. I also remember like we were in VC one time and like I think you guys talked about the ending and I was like, I'm okay just like living with my life as that. Like I didn't really want to take the steps to like really get into it. And it wasn't until for my book club, everybody on the Discord was reading it. I decided to read it and I got past that part where everybody grows up and they go full in pursuit of having his name's Yu, having him go all in on trying to have a boxing career. And I just never made the connection that is like when the actual story starts. And I'm like, what in the fuck? I have never, and I'm sure anybody hearing this who has read it, this is obvious. I did not know this was going to be the case. I've never read a story where the main character is the least important character.
Yeah. The main character isn't the main character for what feels like most of it.
It's the biggest plot twist. It's the biggest fucking plot twist like ever. I did not know that the guy who is the Boxer, isn't the Boxer. The Boxer are the other boxers.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here? What are we fucking doing here? Why has nobody said this before? Did I, like, get lied to?
I mean...
What a fucked up world.
I was pretty big on the Boxer fucking a couple years ago, but, you know, fucking... But
fucking, you don't even, like, you just fucking... You already box, so there's, like, a bias.
No, but the time I made the video, I didn't do boxing yet. I didn't have CTE.
When did you read it?
I was just dumb. It was like 3-4 years ago, dude. Back when I was doing like one moving panel for 30 seconds to a minute. The old days when videos were cheap to make.
But I thought you've been boxing for like 3 years now.
What the fuck? Who told you that? It's been a year. Less if you count all the injuries.
Okay, but that's like all martial arts. Like people say they've been training for XYZ and they're like, oh, but really I've been going consistently for 2 weeks.
No. Like, I mean, like I had surgery. Like I you know what I'm saying? Like I was it's been a year. In my opinion, any amount of boxing, with all due respect, with any amount of boxing that I did beforehand, when I was like the year before, I guess, where I was mostly just at home, you know, fucking moving around and just whatever. No, get your ass in a gym and get your fucking ass handed to you. Then you can start saying, you know what I'm saying? Have somebody there that could fucking point out all your. Sorry, I'm not trying to be an elitist. It's just genuine. Like, I would never, in good faith, throw somebody who's only trained at home into an amateur ring. Like, that's feeding somebody to the wolves. You know. So it's only been a year. It hasn't been that long. I've liked boxing for a long time.
You kind of remind me of like in terms of fighting style, just having seen you in person. You kind of remind me of FaZe Jarvis.
I'm gonna beat the shit out of you when we see each other next time. You're gonna try all that.
Lomachenko, you remind me of Lomachenko. You're like a 1-to-1 of Lomachenko. Oh my god.
Thank you. Fucking. You gotta lie to me, but like fucking, I appreciate it. I guess. It's all that BJJ shit on me. I'm fucking.
But anywho, yeah. So it's not really until like I want to say chapter 40 of The Boxer where it kind of like goes through the career of the world's most lethal, talented, like such a powerful force of nature, like this guy. Just basically get every championship in a way that's like inevitable. It's not about like a kid that's like trying to persevere, become stronger. Like just from selecting the sport of boxing, he is like an atomic threat to the entire world of like the entire sport. And the story basically just has to go through. It basically just revolves around how do his opponents accept that?
Yeah,
it's like
that's a great way of putting it.
It's like, how do they come to terms with the fact that other people in their lives have spent 100 times the amount of effort as this main character has in training the sport, and they just have to like let go of all that, like just accept the fact that there is an inevitable doom. There's someone who's going to rob them of their lifelong dream, and they don't even care. They don't even care to like acknowledge that. And so the structure of each arc will basically be like you enters into a ring, faces off against an opponent, and then we get that opponent's entire life story that led up to that moment of him stepping into that ring. And then we just watch their dreams get mutilated, just completely crushed afterwards.
But for some of them, I would say it's a blessing in disguise. Like for them, I'm trying to remember the name of the one guy, something.
Jean-Pierre.
Where it's just kind of like, oh, there's more to my life than just this. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Wait, sorry. Are you thinking of the lanky pale guy or the heavyweight champion?
No, the lanky pale guy.
Gotcha. Yeah. Jean-Pierre, I like that one a lot. I thought that storyline was really cool, but the fucking blue-haired guy broke me. Like I actually started tearing up on that one.
Are we talking about my GOAT? It's been so many years since I've read it, but if we're talking about, hold on. If you're talking about who I think, Takeda, fucking Rock Lee eyebrows, dude, that shit fucked me up,
dude. That I fucking teared up whenever I think it was like his dad or it was like his coach lets him step into the ring. And he's like, before you go in, I just want to let you know you're the greatest thing that has ever happened to my life. I just started fucking, mind you, I'm reading this on an iPad. I'm leaning sideways on my bed. It's maybe 2 a.m. and I'm just bawling. I'm like sniffling. Boogers are coming out of my nose. I'm like, bro, why did I put this series down? It's like the best thing I think I've read all year. Like I love me some Choujin X. I really do. This is like,
I'm not mad at the boxer.
It's so, I don't know. I don't care. Like, I don't really give a shit about like ranking any of it. I just really, really love the boxer. Now, I think I have like 20 chapters left before we're having our book club meeting. But fuck, dude. Fuck. But how was it? I guess you said you read it like 4 years ago. How was it from your end, given now you actually have like a boxing background similar to FaZe Jarvis?
God damn it. Fuck. I don't know. I think to a certain degree, I wanted to do or try boxing because I felt that, in regards to the channel, I had been very fortunate and very blessed, and I'm grateful that it got to a point of stability. And that was something that I had wanted for years, to be able to say, like, okay, I can do this as a job. And it had reached that point, and I realized that I still didn't feel like, I was like, oh, there's still more. Like, this wasn't it. And I think I've come to learn that you're never going to find the answer. You just always have to find something to make your answer for a period of time. And I wanted to do something that because I looked at myself in the mirror, I'm tall, lanky. And obviously, as time went on, I learned that that's quite the good build to have. But in my brain, I was just sort of like, what's something that I know for a fact that I'm just not made for? And I thought boxing, because I'd never seen myself as built for that sort of thing. And I just wanted to be in an environment and in a sport where I couldn't blame anybody else. I couldn't do any of that. I just had to put in the work, be okay with being bad for however long, that takes, and get my ass beat and still show up the next day regardless of how I feel. And so kind of going through all that and then seeing, kind of like thinking of the story again in the context of those characters, dude, that's a fucking wallop to go through, I'd imagine, to dedicate your whole life to it. Because for me, it's just been a year, but like your entire life to it. And to sort of have to come to terms like, oh, there is more to my life than just this, or how you deal with the loss. Or in like Yu's case, who I think it's the most heartbreaking thing, where for him, his sort of aspect of boxing comes from this place of somebody who's only known how cruel the world is. And there are a lot of fighters out there who are like that, where it's just kind of like they come from fucked up. Like I think in some martial arts, and this is not me trying to joke, because I'd never fuck with a grappler, but like I think it's safe to say that BJJ has a more casual type of people who would go to that sort of thing, and it's like in boxing gyms, dude, you could go to one and half the dudes there were either in juvie or in prison at some point. And it's I don't know. I think it's really fascinating because it's one thing, and it's something that's seen as violent and brutal, but yet people from all different parts of the world with all different types of backstories and all different types of personalities are all laying themselves out bare. And you see that reflected in how they are and how they fight. And I think that's like super sick.
Yeah. I'll do the clarification, because I don't know if you ever posted yourself on your anything of like, you've never posted your boxing before,
not
right?
Publicly.
Okay, guys. So only Jorge knows that I joke about him being FaZe Jarvis. He's an actually good boxer, like not YouTube boxer, like an actually trained boxer. So much so that we went on a Canada trip recently, and the gym that we were training at, people said that he had like the most aesthetically pleasing form they have ever seen in their lives. That is not like me being hyperbolic. That is like a legit actual case. So we'll set that. But
I just want to throw out there, because I'm blushing right now, a lot of the credit just goes to the fact that I'm a big fan of the Russian style of boxing. That's all it is. I think anybody could put in the time and look that aesthetically pleasing in that style.
Yeah. So before you brutally interrupted my glazing, I was just going to ask you, because I think this was also one of the barriers for me when I was trying to read The Boxer. Granted, this ends up being done like an intentional creative choice, but I kind of got like a bad impression initially, because there's that one scene in maybe like the first 5 chapters where the old coach, the main coach, who meets a young Yu, he tries to get him into boxing, and he's like, hey, I think you have a lot of talent. I can coach you. The guy's like, I don't really care. Why would I want to train boxing? And the coach says, it's really fun to beat people up. And in my eyes, I was like, I didn't have further context about that or why he was saying that. And so I kind of assumed that I was going to read a manhwa that was made by a writer and an artist that didn't really like love the art that they were trying to depict, if that makes sense. Like I would never meet a boxer and they actually proudly say that unless it was like Sean Strickland or somebody. I feel like
there are
most
some
people
rare personalities, you know, and you could kind of tell who they are by how they treat beginners. But no, for the most part, again, it's one of the most humbling things in the world, because you'll see people. And I remember my first week there, we were doing film study because some of the guys had fights recently. And I look over to a guy on my left and I'm like, oh, well, I assume he's new like me. Cool. I'll buddy up with him and we can learn together. And then it's all right, we're going to watch so-and-so next. And it's him. And he puts on the best performance technically, beats the shit out of this other guy. I'm like, what the fuck? What? I was like, what do you mean? Yeah, no, there are... Yeah, I don't necessarily think inherently there are some weird characters for sure. However, I will say that...
Yeah, there's definitely some bad faith actors for sure.
Deep down, though, I do think there are a good amount of people, though, that it's like once they do it and once they're on the receiving end of it, it's like, fuck yeah, I don't want to... Better them than me. But, you know, obviously, I think it's more so showing what a bad coach can be.
Yeah. I think it just kind of gave me the wrong first impression going into it. But I was gonna ask it to someone like you now, who's very familiar with the striking world and clearly, obviously, spends a lot of time thinking about that stuff. Does it ever break your immersion when you do read it and like it's not accurate, or like not enough care was put into the details for you to even be immersed anymore?
I mean,
because fighting is in all stories, you know?
Yeah. Well, the thing is all the major boxing stories that I've read them before I did boxing. I think looking back now, having done it, I just love Ippo so much more. So much more.
Yeah.
Because, dude, like in the amateur ranks, again, you do meet some interesting people. In the professional world, some of those guys are insane. They're not normal. They aren't normal. And why would they be? They earn millions of dollars and get their heads punched in all the time. Like that's not very rare. The person, you know what? Like even Usyk, who I think is like Superman in the form of a normal human being, like genuinely a great role model, clinically insane. I genuinely believe. Kind of, you have to be. Like people were telling, there was a story told that because of the war going on, there were missiles going over his house, and he woke up, looked up, and just went back to bed. What the fuck? Like you know what I'm saying? Like you're just dealing with people who aren't. So no, I don't know. I think, I'll be honest. I think a lot of Ashita no Joe, Ippo, the boxer, obviously they're fictional and they're very exaggerated, non-realistic elements. But I think at the core, they're super motivational and inspiring. And I think that's, to me, that has a lot more value than the details really making sense in comparison to something like Blue Lock, which I think the theme of the story gets pretty redundant. Once you've read 50 chapters of it, it's like, okay, there's no value to it from that point on for me. None of the characters, I don't give a fuck about none of those motherfuckers. But no, I don't in particular, I can't think of me feeling like, oh, this manga isn't, because I feel like with the boxer in particular, it's trying to communicate a message beyond just boxing.
Yeah, that's what I found out later on. I think I was more so asking from your end, when fighting does happen, it sounds to me like you find yourself caring less about the details and more so like the feeling that it's bringing out of you. So maybe the boxing or the fighting isn't that accurate, but it does hit the nail on the head of the emotions that go through when you're like in something in the context of a fight.
I mean, I'll give two real life examples. One that sucks and the other one that's actually pretty dope. The first one is like Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. That's not a real boxing match. But we hate that motherfucker Jake so much that so many people were willing to pay money to watch him finally get knocked out by a legend, an old dog, see if he can have one more in him. That's narrative. It had nothing to do with actual technical boxing matchup. It was a 60-year-old Mike Tyson. What technical ability do we expect? You know, there were 20-second clips of the guy like that. You know, and then another real life example. Connor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. So their fathers, Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank, hated each other, had beef, fought, but hated each other. Their sons don't fuck with each other. And that fight was hype as fuck, even though neither of them are the top guys in their weight classes.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, for example, like from a technical perspective, and as boxing matches, Bivol versus Better B of both fights, fucking elite. The narrative going into the first fight, not all that hot, other than these are the two best in their weight class. But there was no personal beef.
Big,
there was no
strong guys.
Yeah,
hit
I respect my opponent. Opponent respect me. That was literally all you could get out of him.
More than he hit me.
Now that's a good Pavol impression. I'm not gonna lie. The second fight though had some narrative because a lot of people felt Bivol should have won the first one. So now it's like, okay, payback, right? But that's it. In comparison to the two sons of two bitter rivals are going at it. Did you hear what's going on with Manny Pacquiao and his son?
No, I did see a clip that I'll show you after this. Though.
This is Filipino Tekken, okay? Pacquiao has a son,
so Tekken,
as an illegitimate son who was raised in poverty, but he's Pacquiao's son. And he's a boxer and is in the same weight class, I believe, as his actual son who was raised with Manny Pacquiao as a rich boy, and the poor one is better.
That's
like
so
you can't. Do you get what I'm saying though? It's like I don't give a fuck if these guys have a good double jab. I want to see someone get knocked out, and I want the poor one to win. That's narrative, and that's what it's ultimately about. I think, you know, obviously as a purist, like, you know, I want to see a good boxing match. But man, you could give me a boxing match with two people who hate each other and can just let dude.
Yeah, like fight when the fighting is just a vessel for two people to settle or learn or like continue the third arc of their own personal storyline.
Yeah.
Both like in a made up setting, but also in a real life setting. I think that's like when it's at its absolute coolest. Stuff like, I mean, I was talking about this with Scam the other day, like, I don't give a fuck about YouTube boxing, not because like they're bad at fighting and they just did a camp for like 3 months and the coach was probably just like some LA fitness personal trainer that had them do jump roping for 3 months straight, and at the last week they told them to not jerk off. Like, I don't even care about that stuff. I think it's the fact that like all of those types of matches makes nobody want to get into the sport, you know? Like, you watch videos of prime Conor McGregor, right? Like fucking, you know, those clips when he's like in his early 20s and he's like, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. I want to, you know, like, or you watch Khabib and he's like young in Dagestan living in the mountains in a fucking shed and all he's known is grappling like his entire life. Like, these types of storylines are what makes people love martial arts. I never have once given a fuck about like any of these people because it doesn't put like the art in martial art. Like, there's nothing. It's just like performative male. Like it's like, yeah, it's just like, it's the most performative version of like something that I think a lot of people would like actually love. To somehow intertwine this tangent back into the boxer. I brought up the question because so little of it has to do with boxing that like,
yeah,
I could see how that became the universal tick for a lot of people.
Yeah. No, yeah, like it's because that's the thing you ultimately will connect to on a character. Like, I'm not going to resonate with a character because, oh, he has a good double jab and I like to double jab. Like, it's not that. It's, oh, this character, to him losing means a lot more because he only feels validated if he wins. And he's only allowed to exist and be with other people if he's good at something. That I can resonate with. That I can go, okay, I need to see him win. Or if he loses, I need to see how he gets back up. So, The Boxer is a great read, though. I'm glad you loved it.
Yep. Still got like 20 chapters left. But it's like up there as like one of my favorite things so far. I've never seen a writer be that confident where they spend 40 chapters building up a character and be like, all right, it's time to now make the focus a new thing every single couple weeks.
Yeah. Yep. But fucking, man, turned out great. So All right, I guess we can. Those were our favorite reads of the year.
Yeah, what a year. I didn't think I genuinely, in my own personal both creative career and also just I guess pursuits of reading a bunch of stuff, I really thought I was gonna go this year not really reading anything from the medium. I think I made my video about comic books with pretty art, where I talked about stuff like The Climber and Berserk and Land of the Lustrous. I think I kind of made that video for and came out of it with the mindset for personal reasons, and also just like, yeah, I think like majority personal reasons, like not really anything against the medium, but I was like, I think I've ran out of stuff that like I would want to make a video on. Therefore, it's been a while since I was like actively just reading stuff for fun. And I'm surprised that at the nearing towards the finish line, I'm like, you know, like I remember I sent a message to Scam because he was the one that recommended to us like the Mad series. I messaged him at like 3 a.m. I'm like, bro, this series has me in my feelings. Like not even because of like some random shit that's going on in the chapter, but just because like I thought I lost that spark. Like I thought it had been so long since I had that like passion inside of me reignited, where I'm like, oh my God, I have so much love for this beat. I have so much love to still give to it. I'm happy that like I got to finish the year off with a good note. I don't know if the same thing happened in your case or not.
I'd say so. Yeah, I'd honestly say the reads towards the end of the year were a pleasant surprise, and I was glad to have them. Because not gonna lie, dude, having those things to read when I was in bed, recovering from the surgery on my jaw, or like all the times I had fucking been out because what was it, the month before that I had torn my calf, and then I had like a toe sprain that then they did an x-ray for, and they were like, oh, you have a tumor in your heel, and then it turned out to just be a cartilage lesion, so we're all good there. But I mean, dude, fuck, like having a good read when you physically aren't allowed to exercise is fucking, or you're sick in bed, oh man, fucking great. So yeah, it came clutch.
Same here. I think I read my stuff when I had my knee injury this year. I think that was like when I was most actively just constantly checking shit on.
Yeah. But shit, man. All right. Fucking, I think this was a good chat. It was a good chat.
It was a good teeny tiny chat. I was picturing like half an hour. We went an hour and a half, which is nothing good. I'll just say good luck to the editor.
You and I under talking is never going to happen. It's just not.
We're just yappers. We're just like such yappers.
Okay,
like we're like fluid yappington, and like it's just like I just love to yap. Like if you just get me to talk about any time, like I'll just yap like nonstop. I'll just fucking yap.
All right. Yeah. This is see, Alex likes doing this bit where he likes to turn into people that if I ever got my fucking hands on. Alrighty. But all right, yeah, we could call it there. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right, bet. Peace.